Why hello there, fellow farmers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld, the Stalwart Ancients. Episode 7, Growing Crops in a Volcano Base. So, as you can see above my head, the build up the defenses is actually a bit of an outdated priority. So what I want to do is expand farming and clean up lab. So expand farming. Let me talk about that for a second. We have somewhat of a limited amount of components here on this map tile. And I do not want to spend all the components before I'm able to fabricate more. So in order to get a fabricator, we need a high-tech research bench, which of course is 10 components, a multi-analyzer, which is 8 components, and then the fabricator itself, which is another 12 components. So as you can see, I need to keep like 20 components or so set aside so that I can start fabricating our own stuff. Which means if I'm expanding the farm, I need to be careful about how I expand the farm, because I don't want to use up all the components doing so. The other task is to clean up the lab. If you're wondering, the buildings and stuff down here, they count. They count towards my colony value. You can actually see when I opened up the lab, it was like, hey, boom, a lot of wealth. So what I want to do is I want to fully explore the lab and then break everything down and send it all up to the surface, because I don't need all of this stuff here has some sort of value, and we can break it down for slag, smelt it, and then load it into our turrets as ammo or something like that. The other thing is we have a gene queue, and I changed the gene queue. So it's important to note, the way the gene queue now works is the people in the gene queue can make a choice. And the choice is either get injected with another Archite capsule for the potential of a new Archite gene plus a weakness, or once we have xenogenetics researched, implant genes. So once xenogenetics is researched, the plan is to open up all of the sort of gene packs here. And the way it works is this. For those that aren't familiar with Biotech, I'll explain. In these gene pack crates, there are genes, random genes. Some of them are going to be terrible, like awful shooting or pig nose or something. And some of them are going to be great, like scarless or woundless or deathless or very fast runner or you know, whatever. And those are then stored in gene banks, because if they're not stored in gene banks, they decay away. So the reason why we haven't been opening them up is I don't have a way to safely store them long term. And when you assemble the gene, then you can implant it into someone and impart those genes that you assembled into that person with no risk, right? There's not a gamble. I mean, I guess there's the surgery gamble of like the surgery went wrong. But the way this works is if we implant genes on top of a super soldier, it resets their genes, right? Their xenogenes get reset. So gene implantation is a really good way to erase genes we don't want. So for instance, if we don't want aggro, and this is just an example. If we don't want aggro to have Blur Runner, Masterful Plants, Tinder Skin, and Poor Intellectual, we could just implant another set of genes in there and basically reset them back to 0. So the gene queue now includes the option, like a text entry, for the person that owns the pawn to decide whether they want to reset their genes with a xenogerm implantation, and I would just like cook up a xenogerm that suits them best. So if they're a shooter, one that helps with that. If they're a planter, helps with that, etc. Or to go through the Archite process. And of course, the Archite process, we only have so much ammunition. Once all the capsules are used up, we'll need more to continue. It's also worth noting that it's a non-zero risk. If there's a failure, luckily we have the Archite recycler. So we do get the capsule back when it fails. But then there's also a chance that we turn into like a hostile mutant, one of the splicelings, and like go haywire, which is what all these turrets are for. All right, so I think I explained that well enough. So let's keep going. Another thing that I intended to do is, as long as one person is in an injection coma, I don't intend to put another person through the process. Which means Red Mist is next in line, but I don't intend to have Red Mist go under the knife until Breakfire is out of coma. because I don't think it is wise to have a high percentage of our colonists in comas at any given time. So, yeah, that's the plan. The plan is to essentially wait for Breakfire to regain consciousness, and then for Red Mist to subsequently go through the process. What is the decay timer on genes after opening the crates? It takes a while. It takes maybe like 50 days, which is just about a year. Yeah, so it would not be quick, but I don't want to risk it all the same. All right, so the plan here is to set up farming, and I'm going to put benches down. In a way that is like nice and organized. And I don't necessarily want to block the walkway either. So even though I know I can grow more stuff, if I don't block that walkway, I intend to leave that clear. And it's not, I don't intend to fill the entire farm zone up completely. This is like a, you know, like a desire to have once I have the resources to do all of this. So, let's talk about the cure. I got asked enough about this that I might as well just spoil it, because people ask. So, Deathless does not help with Hemocollapse Syndrome. What would end up happening was Hemocollapse Syndrome at 100% will kill her, and if she's deathless, she'll just be permanently in a resurrection coma. It is not a cure, it is a delay. The same way a Cryptosleep casket, which might be in one of these Ancient Dangers, is a delay. The only way to really cure this is death or heal serum. Death meaning res serum. So res serum, heal serum, that's basically the only way to do it. Anything short of those two serums is a stopgap measure to delay the inevitable. So essentially, she needs to die or be heal serumed. Deathless and everything else is just ineffective for resurrection purposes. And yeah, it's a bit of a spoiler, but I got asked, I don't know, like a dozen times, and I'm just tired of being like, hey, just wait. Because, you know, I'm human and have a certain level of patience for being asked the same question over and over and over, like a are we there yet type scenario. So, there you have it. If you didn't want the spoiler, I'm sorry. I should probably have warned you, but so be it. I think for now, I'm going to move, let's see. So I'm going to start using the right light. And this is going to be the new farming zone. Something like that. It's imperfect, but, you know, this will allow us to start expand farming. And Aggro just harvested it, so we can move it in just a moment. The other thing we're going to need up here is, like, probably power on this back wall, because without power, the ones back there aren't going to be able to grow. It's okay, you understand the frustration? Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I can only be asked the same question so many times until it's like, yo, I've had enough. I'll just spill the beans, because this is getting silly. So I have Aggro, oh, he needs medical treatment. And unfortunately, I don't really have a good doctor for that, so I'll give Red Mist a shot. But I'm having Aggro running around the map, mining up all of the compacted machinery. And I'll run a search to make sure, oh yeah, so here's some that I didn't see. I'll run a search to make sure I've found it all. There's also the ship chunk that fell. There's also the potential of getting compacted machinery from the Ancient Danger. And then there's the potential of getting compacted machinery from some of the things we break down here. And And what I want to do is I want to figure out how many components I have so that I can set aside enough to be able to get fabrication up and running, because without fabrication, we would have to leave this map tile, and it's not really all that safe to leave like a top secret gene lab with a less than full colony of protectors. So, dem's the goal. The shipping containers outside are just debris. These are just slag. All right, drug production is now researched. I believe you guys had queued up drug production so that I could get medicine production, but I can't get medicine production until I have microelectronics, so I'm just choosing microelectronics to be researched next. I think it's the most logical, and it would be good for everyone to ramp that up. So in these new benches here, I'm going to start growing cotton, because cotton plus naturamine plus herbal meds equal industrial meds, and industrial meds is going to help Red Mist with her hemocollapse syndrome progression. Vidisum, thank you for the resub, and Doopy too, and JD. Alright, aggro is mining out some of the barriers right in front that we don't really need, and then going back to the compacted machinery mining. The issue with this, of course, is as it is raining, I'm going to need to haul this stuff in, because it decays a lot faster in rain. Alright, flippers, let's go ahead and move the beds. And then work on that cable line that's going to allow the ones in the back to power up. He should be set to high priority construction with any luck. Agros continue to mine. And Inu is healed. Inu, I want to give you the great bow. Inu is not exactly the healthiest of pawns. Being that they're delicate, we got to keep them nice and safe, because physical combat's going to be kind of dangerous for them. So that is, I guess, a concern of mine. And a great bow. Oh, wow. Obsidian. A great bow will allow her to fire from a distance. Alright, another thing is we are spinning up the... Oh, looks like the generator needs a kick. But as we are spinning up the farming, we are probably going to need to create more power. Oh, you know what? You are, like, absolutely destroying this thing. Because you are a brawler. You should probably not be the one to kick that. Copy that. And I'm kicking it, and it's only making less power. Okay. Obviously it needs to be repaired first. I'm gonna have flippers repair it, and then try to kick it some more. I gotta be careful about who kicks it, because, yeah, they'll just blow it up at this rate. No. Go repair it. And refuel it. And then hack the pipeline junction so that we can, you know, get more free fuel. Alright, kick it again. There we go. 42, I can live with that. It's not max, but it's, like, close enough. As long as we're in the power positive, I think it's fine. What was that noise? Oh, that was the overdrive. Right. Or override, rather. Yeah, it would suck to break that Jenny because it's like a lot of fuel, even though the kicking part is kind of annoying. How does the ancient chem fuel generator work? It generates power from chem fuel, but the power output varies, and when it varies and goes lower, you just have to kick it. There's really nothing all that special about it, other than you occasionally have to remind it who's boss. Issue some percussive maintenance. Pretty standard stuff here in the Rim. Feel like to some degree or another, Randy Random issues percussive maintenance for the player, and rearranges the player's life with percussive attacks. Alright, it seems to me like the issue right now is we are out of surface steel, or steel that we have available for making the cable networks. One thing I could do is send aggro down. Actually, I'm going to hold off on that. I'd rather have aggro getting the compacted machinery, but I could send someone down at some point to the lab and start breaking things down. So most of the lab equipment down here requires actual deconstruction. It won't allow you to just disassemble for whatever reason. But things like stools and hospital beds, operating tables, etc., we can actually disassemble. And what I want to do is I want to disassemble everything that we possibly can down here to make everything destroyed, like completely reset this room. I don't intend to use it, mind you. I just don't want it adding colony value for no benefit. So that's sort of the idea that I had. And we'll go ahead and get our people on that as soon as Breakfire's up. The plan is, once Breakfire wakes up, I want him to start making some SMGs, because I'm a little worried about, you know, being in a firefight, because we have like 2 bows and a combat shotgun. It's a really terrible amount of weaponry. And then after that, maybe making a breach axe and sending Red Mist down there to start smashing the lab apart of all the stuff that has essentially broken down that we don't need to keep anymore. Ah, Flip got the plague. Okay, well, you, friend, are going to be on bed rest. And aggro will tend to you. No. Well, actually, that's fine. We'll try with herbal meds. And then if herbal meds isn't enough, we can always ramp it up. So the plan is to give everyone herbal meds except for Red Mist. Red Mist is the exception because the quality of the meds help to prevent the buildup of the conditions. Another thing that I was considering to do right now, and I think I'm just going to do it, is maybe giving Breakfire some of the bionics. With aggro, who's hopped up on sensory mechanites, which makes him a better doctor. Actually, hold up. Equip the scalpel, too. So I'm giving Breakfire, who's our crafter, the bionic arm, and then the detox lung. The benefit of the detox lung will be that he'll walk, like, slightly faster than the average person. Are you doing this with herbal meds? I'm super worried. Oh, it worked. Okay. Because the detox lung gives you extra breathing, which allows you to run a little faster. Like, a little faster, but still fast enough that you'll be able to outrun people that don't have it. Okay, and apparently I'm supposed to... everyone gets sick. Okay, so Breakfire and Red Mist are now in bed rest, and 3/5 of our colony are ill. Cool. Hang on. So Red Mist is, or actually Breakfire, you are like deathless, so the illness doesn't really matter to you much at all. But for everyone else, it's a bit more of an issue. And now Aggro is going to have to play, like, Super Doctor, which sucks. Because I didn't want to piss him off with tasking him with, like, a bajillion tasks. So in terms of mood, one of the big mood modifiers here is, like, slept in the cold. He's in pain because of the sensory mechanites. So there's just a lot of things that are an issue. Would penoxycycline stop the sensory mechanites? So, no. Because sensory mechanites is mechanites. They're like nano machines that are in your body. Penoxycycline, or whatever it's called, stops malaria, plague, and sleeping sickness. And that is it. So it would have stopped wouldn't stop the flu, but it would have stopped the plague. But, unless you're sitting on, like, a ridiculous amount of naturamine, it's not a very good deal. I will say. And Aggro, you're just gonna have to self-tend, which super sucks, because quality's gonna be really poor. I'm gonna make sense. The flu is a viral. It shouldn't be stopped by an antibiotic. So I guess there is some realism in that, for better or for worse. So the priority right now is probably a bit of a lie. The priority is, like, basically to tend to everyone's illnesses, while Inu, like, pushes the research ahead. Oh, goodness. A psychic ship. The Scyther is the annoying one in that. There is a silver lining here, which is that the Scyther moves faster, if I'm not mistaken, 4-7 than the Pikeman, the Militor, or the Lancer. The Lancer also moves to 4-7, so it's possible to, like, lure the Scyther away from that stack. But I'm not thrilled to have a psychic ship, and that is what is it, male? Great. So also hits the 3/5 of our colonists. Fantastic. What a good deal. Another thing I realized is with Red Mist down for the count, I am also going to need to have someone cook, potentially, depending on how long she's out. Yeah, this situation could have been better. Not super thrilled about the, like, continuous bad disease. You know, we had, it doesn't show here because it's not a raid, but it was like, flu, plague, psychic ship. It's like, okay, I get it. You want me to suffer. I understand. You're being a jerk, but yeah. Alright, you're back to digging at compacted machinery. I suppose that's fine. Actually, you know what? Let's see if going underground can help you with the whole, like, droner. Sort of curious. It did. Alright, aggro. I'm going to allow you to construct and just go break stuff down to move it to the surface. Unfortunately, the colonists here are just, like, in terrible moods, and I'm going to have to allow them some recreation if I want them to not lose their mind. Another thing that I could probably afford to do is to work on a heater, because the research speed that we have, and also, like, everyone's happiness that is in the hospital, is directly affected by the temperature in there. So I think it's probably worth it to get flippers up and to, like, make a heater. Probably also to make a heater for bedrooms as well eventually, Until the point where we want to like deep freeze everything. At some point we might want to deep freeze everything so that we are like bug proof, but that's not going to be, I suspect, for a while. So I grabbed some of the materials from the underground lab, and I'm just like shipping them to the surface so that we can build stuff with them, like the heater. All right, that ought to help. Moods are a little bit better, but like not by much. And that droner is really not going to go away. So what I'm thinking of doing is like trying to take pot shots at the droner, probably with Inu's great bow, with aggro wielding it or something along those lines, to lure them in, because I'm pretty sure turrets could handle them except for the Scyther. The other alternative is to leave them there and wake them up if I get raided by other non-mechs, because then there would be an opportunity to pit the mechs against whoever else came in to mess with me. Boom rat. You know what? I'll just release you. Aggro, you want to do it? There you go. Mind-shattering pain. Yep. Yep. At least your consciousness is, like, above the insta-death threshold. Because it could be worse. It could be worse. Alright, Aggro, what are you up to? You are digging. That is a minor passion of yours, so like that's not a bad way to spend your time. Flippers is no longer conscious. But there's actually good news about that. He can't really have a mental break if he can't move. So I count that as a win. But, okay, you're already feeding him. Alright, Flippers is recovered. Red Mist is 42. Wow, Flippers, how did you recover so fast? Oh, Plague is different than the flu, yeah. So Red Mist is at 42, and Breakfire is at 59. Alright, the other thing is, tend her hemocollapse. There we go, with industrial meds. Perfect. And Aggro, try not to have like a mental break. I know, you like deserve one, but you're really the only one I can count on right now. Because thanks, Randy. Alright, driven animals mad. So it drove a boom rat mad. I guess it's fine. It is a fire-esque, but not a big deal. Oh, yeah, here we go. Down it goes. So, flips up. With flip up, yes, continue making the cables. Inu will get the fire out. And we're still on the path to recovery. Although it's not helpful, I'm going to move the other foosball table into the rec room to increase the value of the room. If I do enough of stuff like that, it can actually move the needle into the positive, which would be great. And I know that like psychic ship is really causing some issues with the mood in the colony. What I'm actually hoping to have happen is for Aggro to have a mental break, get catharsis, and then I'll be able to rely on him to help clear it out. Because as they are now, I don't really want to initiate a fight with them, like, potentially entering a mental break at any given time. So it'd be better if he actually had a mental break and then had catharsis for the big boon, and then I fought them. That would be the kind of the order of operation I'd be looking to do things in. Would the injection coma go away with the dying and reviving as deathless? The thing is, when you revive as a deathless, you also have a resurrection coma. So you're picking one coma over another. It's not that helpful, I don't think. What's funny is because the walls in the ancient vault are completely invulnerable, and this is also kind of unfortunate. The walls are invulnerable, which also means that when you have a tantrum and you destroy things in your room, you can't really destroy very much. You know? The list of things you can even punch are pretty limited, and as a result, you only destroy your bed and lights and stuff. Flip, can you do meds? Can either of you? Let's see. You can pretend to do doctoring. %. Yeah, I think that would be better than what self-tem would have come out as, so we'll count that as a net positive. Red Mist is out of bed. That's not correct. Oh, we tended flu with the wrong medicine. I've been trying to juggle it so that the flu is tended with the herbal and the hemocollapse with the industrial, but no such luck this time. Where are you going with that? Why'd you bring it over there? Aggro, you weird. So 2 researchers pushing towards microelectronics, and he now has catharsis, which means maybe once he wakes up and recreates, I'll take pot shots at the mechs and try to clear it using the mini turrets to my advantage. No more good meds? So there's good meds in our pockets. Right? So what I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry only herbals now. Drone intensifies. Yeah, I figured. Oh, break is up. Okay. So Breakfire, I want you to make 4 heavy SMGs. He's up and no longer sick. So Red Mist is the only one that is needing dedicated bed rest now. This also means that Red Mist was next in the queue for gene tinkering. But I'll probably wait until the threats are over, because it doesn't really make sense to be down a defender in the middle of in the middle of, you know, threats to the colony. Okay, heavy SMG time. That should help out with these mechs as well, I suspect. Now, if I can, I would like to wait to engage the mechs until the flu symptoms subside, because, you know, there's a lot of, like, combat penalties as a result of having recently been sick, which I don't want to tilt the scales into the mech's favor any more than I really have to. But we're mostly recovered. And then all of the surgeries for Breakfire went well, which is great. Because that could have gone worse. Or poor. Oh, God. Speaking of... Really? Seriously? So, infestation right in our main hallway. Sorry to wake everybody. The plan is to open up this door and then to usher them into the turret kill box area. But, like, not thrilled about this. Randy is just really being obnoxious. So what I want to do is I want to initiate and engage. Really? You didn't hit anything? For real? Come on. And then run to cover. Don't know why I brought Breakfire. It's not like he has a weapon. Let's turn that turret off. Come on. Stop attacking the frickin' turret. Well, Red missed because she was recently sick. Can't stay vertical very long. Alright. Immediate threat's over. Turrets are off. Breakfire, you are going to rescue Red Mist. And that will push the clock back for when we can deal with the mechs. Fortunately, there might be a bit of a mood bonus as a result of clearing the infestation, right? Because that's a thing. Could I use the mechs? No. When the TLDR is when bugs are ripping apart your base, you don't invite more things to rip apart your base. That's not a sound plan at all. That and the way these mechs work is they guard the psychic ship. So in order to use the mechs, we would have to damage the psychic ship or even blow up the psychic ship, which is damn near impossible to do without dying because they have two things that can shoot farther and hit harder than we can. So it would be essentially committing suicide to lose your base to bugs. The other good news is we will, I think, have some insect jelly, and that should maybe stabilize some moods. And we have some animals driven mad. So, more boom rat? Just one more boom rat. Hey, Klein. Thank you for the resub. Thanks for popping in, even if you can't stay long. So, Flip, what do you need? You are just upset. Come on, turrets. Oh my god, turrets. Oh my god, turrets. Freaking enemy walks through. I knew that aggro had tinder skin, so I chose breakfire to take the hit there. I know the doors are open. I can't even close them because there's a locust in the way. Pointing out the obvious to me is not as helpful as you might think. The intention was to have the turrets shoot the thing, and I had 4 turrets fire hypothetically 12 rounds at the boom rat, and the boom rat just ignored them all. You know, it's just bad luck. Alright, Red Mist, what do you need? Tending for flu. Okay. You are set to bed rest. You need to actually do that. And then your next tending will be the hemocollapse, and then I'll ramp this up back to industrial. Actually flip. Oh, whatever. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld, the Stalwart Ancients, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow ancients.